name's Laura, I'm 29, I'm from Shropshire. I was, until 9 months ago, I was a crack cocaine addict. I was brought up quite well, I had a good childhood. My mum and dad got divorced at 12. My dad left and remarried, and it sort of left quite a deep hole inside me. My dad used to spoil me rotten because he felt guilty, so I always had the best cars, I had what I wanted, I was like a proper spoiled brat. So I started hang around with the wrong people, wrong crowds, got involved with guys quite early on, started getting pregnant dead early, numerous abortions, you know, just started becoming a party animal at quite a young age, and then started messing around with drugs.
My name's Joe. I'm one of the waiters here at Rising Cafe. I've been with the cafe for about a month, 2 months now. I ended up with Patel about 5 months ago. I've tried various things to solve my drinking problem before. I tried various detoxes in hospital and inpatient rehabs, tried various things within the community, group sessions and stuff, and nothing was working. I had been homeless and things in the past, and in about June I found myself kicked out of abstinence-based supported living for drinking again. And I just came to a point where I just really couldn't go back to that life, you know, shoplifting, living in doorways. And yeah, I found myself in a doorway. I had just been beaten up basically, and I thought, no, I can't do this. So I came to Patel about 4 months ago.
So I ended up with a drug dealer, and he used to beat me up, so I got involved in quite a lot of domestic violence. So I've had to broken collarbones, got set on fire, got my hair burnt off, dump valve across my leg, my car set on fire, all sorts of nasty things. I just got really paranoid and isolated, so it made me not want to leave them. There was nothing else to life than that. And then I started experimenting with crack. So I started making my own crack, cooking up crack, selling crack, all that kind of stuff. And then I became a prostitute. So I was a prostitute for quite 5 years, and that's when my little girl, I got pregnant for the 13th time, and something made me want to keep her. I think it was God speaking to me. So I had faith when she was born, but when I was still using it at 20 weeks, obviously the hospital had to refer me to social services. So when she was born, they let me keep her and have a chance to try and, you know, stop taking drugs. So when she was 3 months old, I relapsed. I had my own house, I had everything I'd ever wanted. I had the car, you know, just everything, and it was never enough. Nothing was ever enough. She wasn't enough, my own daughter wasn't enough.
My drinking started when I was about 12, I would say. All my family are very heavy drinkers, and it just seemed like a normal thing to do, to just, you know, calm down, relax, whatever. When I was about 13, 14, I started drinking on my own. That's when sort of drinks started coming into parties in school and whatever. And yeah, I just did it as a way. I bunked off school quite a lot. I wasn't very happy in school. I wasn't very happy in general, and I used it as a way of, you know, just not having to deal with real life, not having to deal with my own emotions, and in the short term that did work, you know, just you don't have to deal with anything because you can just rob a few bottles of wine and be done with it.
When I was smoking crack, I never injected because I hate injections, but I used to hallucinate. I used to hear voices. It felt like I'd gone into this other dimension where I could see spirits, and I used to talk to things in the room, like spirits of ghosts, and it was pure paranoia. My life was just paranoia, and it was just horrible. It was so isolating, it was alone. It was just suicidal. A lot of it was suicide. I did attempt suicide 3 times.
I do actually remember this quite clearly. It was Christmas Eve, December 2014. I was living in a car park at the time, was sleeping rough in a car park, and I'd woke up, I'd wet myself, and I woke up thinking, oh no, where's my wine, where's my alcohol, I need it, you know, I don't know what shops are going to be open that I can shoplift more alcohol from. And I thought, it was odd because usually, obviously that's a pretty miserable existence, but you can just live in this little fantasy land in your own head where you're still with your mates, you're still having fun. But in that moment I just realised that this was my life, this was all my life, and it was just the most horrible feeling I've ever experienced. And I think I knew then that I just couldn't I didn't want to keep living like this. I knew that this problem had just completely taken me over, basically.
Going clean for like the first time 6 months, that was hard, relapsing, because it was like double the guilt, double the shame, and then again I'd done it again and it was like triple the guilt, triple the shame, and just the self-worthlessness, and just it was horrible. It was like, yeah, that's the most heartbreaking point, knowing that you've done it and then you've relapsed. That's pretty crap. Last year I met some people in my hometown, and it was getting really bad. I could just feel like the intensity of things, and I got involved with a lad that was on the run for stabbing someone, attempted murder, and I harboured him at my house, and he was living with me and we were dealing from my house and stuff, and then he stabbed someone else and I was there, and I kind of knew that it was either prison for me or death.
Well, one of the worst times with my drinking in general was I was sofa surfing at somebody's house, and they had basically said, you know, you can come and stay at my house, but these are my conditions, and there were a lot of things I didn't want to be doing, which I felt pressured into be doing, because otherwise I would be on the streets again. At the same time, they were funding all of my drinking, so I felt a bit pressured. I felt very trapped, and I put up with the things that they wanted me to do for about a month. And in the end, I couldn't cope with it anymore, and I got very angry, and I had to leave. And there was a point where I was on the streets because I couldn't carry on, you know, losing my dignity like that. It was that choice between either be homeless or have no dignity, just actually completely debase yourself. And I realised no one was, at the time I made a decision that no one was ever going to make me feel like that again, and that I just wasn't going to care about anything. It's odd, all the things that I was being really stubborn about coming here for, all the things I didn't want to come here, like the community living, being around people all the time. Actually, the Christian aspect of it, I'm a vicar's son, I should be okay with the Christian aspect. Things like that are the things I enjoy the most. I didn't realise just how lonely I was, and I didn't realise just how self-absorbed and frankly kind of nasty I'd become. And yeah, and just living with people and just having friends, it's just so hugely nice thing to have, and it's just this. It's hectic as anything, as you can probably see around from what we're doing, but inside in yourself, it's so much hugely more peaceful. I'm trying to think of how to describe it. It's just so much more peaceful. You get a real sense that you're safe and you're cared for and you're loved here, which I haven't really experienced in the past few years at all. So I'm hugely more happy here. Yeah.
So my dad was like, "You've got to go and you've got to sort yourself out. Why don't you try this Battelle that my probation officer had advised me about?" So after a month of debating it, I decided to ring and come into Battelle. So I come in, and then 2 weeks after I've been here, I was arrested on a conspiracy to attempt murder charge. That was only like 8 months ago, so that was a big shock. And I was on probation anyway, so I know if I wasn't in here now, I'd be on remand and probably on a long life sentence, which isn't good. So I'm now responsible. I'm driving. I drive the van now, and it's just, life is just amazing. And God's done so much in my life, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. It's just amazing. And I see my little girl. She comes up every month, and I saw her the other week, and she's just amazing.